2 years ago, I made a life-changing decision to move to Torrevieja, and people ask me all the time, was it the right move? Did I do the right thing? And would you do it all over again? So in this video, I'm answering that question and giving you my honest 2 years review, or 2 years later review of life in Spain's arguably most popular expat hub. Hi folks, welcome to the channel, welcome to Spain, I'm Steve. So yes, today I'm going to reflect on what it's really been like living in and around the Torrevieja area for this last 2 years. Well, not quite 2 years. And for those of you who don't know the area, Torrevieja is located on the Costa Blanca in the province of Alicante. Now, when I retired at first, I didn't come straight here. Didn't even come to Spain. I actually bought a van, and myself and my 2 dogs travelled around Europe for a year, just going from place to place. Wonderful time I had, wonderful time we had. It was a brilliant experience for the first time in my life. Total freedom. Just me, the dogs, the open road, and lots of music. But eventually I'd had enough driving and I decided to settle. And it was either going to be here or Thailand, and it turned out to be Spain. And the not so crazy weather that you get in Thailand. Right, we're going for they call it a forest walk, a walk in the wilderness. Torrevieja over there, the salt lakes, and cicada flies going crazy. Hopefully you'll not hear too much of them. So I sold my van and made the move to Spain again with the 2 dogs. And I started off in a lovely wee coastal town called Guardamar. Beautiful beaches, much quieter vibe than where I live now. And I rented an apartment there for a full year. But like so many things we discover in life, the reality, while I really liked Guardamar, it just didn't really feel like home. You know, many reasons, but I suppose the biggest one was that I found the language barrier quite hard. I tried to learn Spanish, but at my time of life, I think I'm talking like an old man, but once I hit my 60s, I think the days of learning, screwed-type learning were over. I really struggled, couldn't concentrate, just couldn't stay interested. It's too hard. Guardamar was very Spanish, so I found myself increasingly going back and forward to Torrevieja. It's just much more expat friendlier. Busier, yes, but there's just so much more going on that I could get involved in. And I found myself always talking to people, which didn't happen in Guardamar. I was quite isolated. So when my 1 year rental agreement was up in Guardamar, I knew it was time for a change, and I made the decision to move to Torrevieja more permanently. I bought a small apartment, just €59,000 in Villamartin, a very popular area near Torrevieja, inland, a few kilometres, 2 or 3 kilometres. And my apartment, it is small, but it's really nice. It's also in a really nice urbanisation, and it's just perfect for me. I would say it's perfect for me. It would be perfect for a couple who didn't want anything big, anything they needed to put too much effort into keeping under control or keeping tidy or whatever. And I'm now in my 2nd year living in the same urbanisation and absolutely loving it. It's just a great place. Day-to-day life, very relaxed. I've met a lot of new friends and the lifestyle just suits me. Most of the time I love to chill out and have a swim and work on my videos, do a bit of writing. So just a perfect lifestyle, especially with the nice weather. I love especially going for these type of walks and the odd sea walk. And up here, there is a vibe to it, a holiday vibe, but it's not a real resort vibe. You know, it's a real life rhythm with sunshine and a slower pace that I've always dreamt of. Now, compared to other parts of Spain that I considered, this area really hits the sweet spot for me. I looked and considered places like Marbella, really lovely, but more expensive. And I'd also thought about further north in the coast, places like Salou. But to be honest, I've just never spent enough time there and just didn't know it well enough to take any risks of moving somewhere that I may not like. You know, here in Torrevieja and around the Costa Blanca, I already knew the area so well, and that just made a big difference in feeling confident and comfortable with the move, you know. Also, and you may not know this particular area has a bit of a microclimate, which makes for lovely mild winters. It can get cool at night, but really nice winters, which of course is another big draw if you're hoping to spend time in the outdoors all year round. Properties here are still affordable if you look in the right places. Take your time, and my cost of living, as I've shown in recent videos, is much cheaper than back home in Northern Ireland, and especially now that I own my small apartment outright. And I've sort of hidden this, but one of the big massive changes that happened when I moved from Guardamar to here was the feeling of belonging. You know, when you're somewhere where you don't speak the language and the vast majority around you are locals, it can be very isolating if you're not willing to go and search. But here, there's a proper expat community, and it doesn't matter if you want to mix with Irish, English, people from all over Europe and Scandinavia. I mix with everybody, but they're all English speakers. I can pretty much walk into any cafe and have a conversation with somebody. There's so much to do, so many things to join if you're interested. Sports, hobbies, all sorts. And it's not just about speaking English, it's about shared experiences and having people around who understand where you're coming from, which has made a massive difference to my happiness here. Happiness is the right word, fitting in, feeling like home, comfortable. And I suppose it wouldn't be right to have this video without talking about the downsides. But honestly, really, it's quite hard to think of downsides, and that's not me sugarcoating it. I just mean that most of the things that I suppose could be seen as negatives are either minor, or things that you adjust to quickly, or things that you only have to go through once. You know, for example, yes, in Torrevieja it gets very busy in the summer for July and August. Just July and August. And parking, for example, can feel like a competitive sport, especially anywhere near the coast. And bureaucracy too feels a bit like an extreme sport in Spain. For example, when I went to get my residency card, they made a small mistake on the actual card. They got my date of birth wrong by 1 day, and I ended up unbelievably having to apply again from start to finish. The guy who did it, his mistake led to another 2 months of hassle and costs for me, but that's just how it is here, and you just have to bite the bullet, get things sorted and put them behind you. So my residency card's now done, and until I've just mentioned it there, I'd sort of forgot about it. Oh, bit of climbing to do. Don't really know where this is leading to. Oop. Path. I never know where I'm going. I don't really care where I end up. And you know, there are still times when I think maybe I should be learning Spanish, and I think that if I decide to finally settle down here forever, which I've not really come to that complete decision yet, maybe I will have another go. But for now, I'm just too lazy, I think. Nope, going the wrong way. There is a wrong way. But here's the thing, these small frustrations haven't dented at all the way that I feel about living here. In fact, they're nothing really. And if anything, they're sort of part of the experience, part of the charm, part of the texture of sort of daily life in Spain. The sort of things you laugh with friends about over a coffee. So I'd say if these are the worst things, then it's all right. So would I still pick Torrevieja? Well, obviously, absolutely. In fact, probably, if I had to make the decision again, I'd probably make it quicker. Jump in. As I said, yeah, I'd consider places like Marbella, but let's be honest, I'd had to have a lot more money than I do to live anywhere like that, which isn't great for anyone living on a budget. Torrevieja, it gave me a life the life that I was looking for. Simple, warm, affordable, and filled with other people who have made the same leap as me. We're all in the same boat. And it's not just expat friendly, it's livable. I've got friends, a home, a rhythm, a lifestyle that just feels right, you know. Now, that's not to say I don't have another potential big move in front of me at some point in my life. But yes, I would definitely still choose Torrevieja. And for me specifically, Villamartin. I feel like so many things since I've retired that I got a bit lucky. I just chose the place that quietly works for me. Well, after a year's adventure in the Guardamar, and I know a lot of you guys that are watching this are thinking about moving to Spain and trying to decide where to go. And yes, there are flashier spots, more beautiful spots, but the Costa Blanca, and particularly this area, strikes a balance that most people are actually looking for. And it's still affordable. You can buy a really nice place for under €100,000, and rental prices haven't gone crazy. They've went up, but they haven't gone crazy like they've done in other parts of Spain. It's social. There's a real mix of people, which makes it very easy to mix and feel like you're part of something. And healthcare, infrastructure, shops, it's all here. It's not remote or rustic. It's real life, but with sunshine. And another huge plus is how central it is. Within about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of here, you've got Alicante City, which is amazing. Murcia, Cartagena, lots of popular destinations that people are willing to travel to see. Loads of public buses and that sort of thing to get you from A to B if you haven't got a car. So very easy and reasonably cheap day trips. And if you want to go further, Alicante Airport from here is only about 45 minutes, a bit closer from Torrevieja itself, and it's serviced by all of the budget airlines. So hopping back to Ireland, UK, the rest of Europe, and even places like America and Australia can all be done from Alicante. So it gives me the best of both worlds. A home base that isn't too far from home, great weather most of the year, but the freedom to travel easily whenever you like. And things that I realised very quickly in Spain, there are so many things that are much, much cheaper where you don't get ripped off as much. For example, parking in the airport is much cheaper than it was back in Ireland. And another thing, when you're here, the great thing is you don't have to figure it all out on your own. There's always someone, plenty of people, who have went through what you're going through. I said that as if it's like a negative thing. Who have done what you're doing. Whether it's navigating paperwork, finding a solicitor, finding a place to live, or just simply learning how to order your dinner and how to be patient when you try to get a waiter. And for a lot of people, not just retirees, but remote workers, families, couples, solo adventurers, which I consider myself to be, this area makes living in Spain the ideal spot for me. So, if you're thinking about moving to Spain, let this video and videos like this be a helping positive sign. You don't need everything figured out. You don't need to be able to speak Spanish. I've made it back nearly home. What you do need is the willingness to try something new, downsize your stress, and build a new life somewhere lovely that fits you. And that's what I've found here. And if it feels like something you want to do, you want to experience, well, maybe I'll see you out and about someday. I do see quite a lot of people out and about someday. There's the fella that makes the videos. So that's it for this one. I'm going to leave it off there. And I hope this video will give you a bit of a feel for what it's like to live here. I would suggest that if you've never been here and you're thinking of moving here, come for a holiday. It only needs to be a few days, but never go somewhere without feeling it out. And speaking of real life, I'm going whitewater rafting in a couple of days with a friend. So, providing that I don't get drowned or anything, and if you want to see how it goes, make sure you're subscribed, and it should be out next week sometime. And if you've enjoyed the video, as usual, please give it a thumbs up. Love you to subscribe, love to hear your comments. But until next time, bye for now.